Hello beautiful truth bitches, and welcome back to our channel where we spill the actual tea on the wonderful world of the Sussex marriage. Hello viewers, welcome again. We have the piping hot tea to spill that, combined, will finally solve the mystery of Megxit. Get ready to be shocked by my exclusive from royal sources on King Charles and Prince William taking firm action against Harry and Meghan. This is the last hurrah, the big reveal, the final showdown where these desperate media mosquitoes get slapped down. But before we jump into this breaking news, if you have not already, please subscribe and click the bell. You're gonna drive out of your way to read the hot takes. And here we could begin with some audacious behavior, like Meghan's continuous slapping attacks and antics to the royal family. There is absolutely nothing that this couple will not stoop to when the take turns dishonoring one another with scandalous accusations, tell-all novels, and a grotesque Netflix venture showcasing the family shame airing all for the world to see. And for what gain? For developing their brand, and presenting themselves as a socially aware power couple, perhaps? To my mind, they are little more than wannabe power-hungry bastards. It is as if they think that their fame and their wealth are not so wholly derivative of the very monarchy that they are so busy criticizing and betraying. Look how well they have portrayed themselves as victims while at the same time using their royal connections to give interviews in the courtyard of the fictional house on social media. Not for Meghan and Harry the wordless loyalty the royals have traditionally demanded, the long hours spent in ascetic devotion to grueling royal duties which has in part defined their penance for privilege, to an institution that fed them, gave them a limb-strengthening leg up and warned them never to bite that hand. The royal family, in particular King Charles and Prince William, are preparing to hit back at the very existential heart of Harry and Meghan's media-generated empire. The most recent update from my intelligence confirms that a big change is fast arising. King Charles and Prince William are in the middle of a strategic plan to expose Harry and Meghan's real motivations to the world. Sources insist this is about more than the royal family's good name, but about disproving narratives being put forward by the Sussexes. The truth needs to come out, and it looks like the royal family is more than willing to allow just that to happen. Many people in the public and among the royal supporters feel that we are at a turning point too. The royal family is a traditional, public service institution, and one with an ongoing, years-long practice of not thoroughly defending itself against accusations. But as with most things, the tide is turning. The monarchy wants to reclaim its narrative, ensuring the record of service, duty, and honor of the central family remains unsullied from the antics abroad of the Sussexes. Without the backing of the monarchy, Meghan and Harry are a bunch of vaguely familiar faces determined to stretch out the last dance at the ball. But they are too self-impressed to notice that fact. Despite now stepping back from royal duties, they still seem to be under the illusion that the world is under their spell and hang on every war, as per this latest version of events I am sharing with you. Breaking, we are officially over our pity party of one. Excitement is building about new reports suggesting Charles and William are determined to finally cancel the Sussex Squawk Box full story. They are sick of Harry and Meghan, sick of their continued attention-seeking and their wish to have their cake and eat it. This is only information from reliable sources that disclose that the King and the Prince are determined to exclude Harry and Meghan from the ranks of the Duke and Duchess. This move represents the height of disgrace, the slouching of egos having been founded on hubris. For months Charles and William have argued over whether such drastic action is required to completely cut ties with those who unashamedly profited from and attacked the institution that had provided for them. But that is enough, in their view. Harry and Meghan have crossed a red line, if they are going to exploit openly, and be paid, for promoting their royal status while denouncing it. This is improper. Their conduct is dishonest, unpalatable, and has forced the monarchy to take the drastic action of stripping the very title to which they have brazenly clung. Taking away their titles, that is not just symbolic. That is a real message. It represents the monarchy's disapproval of its members who exploit their relationship for personal reward. Those Duke and Duchess titles were, for Harry and Meghan, a meal ticket, to opportunities and a lifestyle that would have been much more difficult to obtain without the royal connection. They cast their move away as a desire for independence and privacy, but routinely have acted in ways that betray that statement, showing a longing to stay in the public eye and benefiting from their royal connections. Their demotion to remove their titles is more than just the shift of responsibility, it also speaks to the wider ramifications of the future of the monarchy. This shows a dedication in maintaining the honor and dignity of the school. So when there is a long-established institution as the royal family, tasked as a holder of continuity and tradition, then, if only for reasons of pure self-preservation, the royal brand to be protected from being sullied by non-adherence. If Charles were to give Harry and Meghan a free pass, he and William would not be creating a dangerous precedent just in dealing with a family matter, they would be legitimizing the devaluing of the monarchy, and one of the most unshakable pillars of the British establishment, in what is widely seen as the royal family's war with itself. This move also shows other members of the royal family, or the occasional royalty without portfolio like Sir Prince Andrew, and the public at large that there is no free ride and no birthright without an obligation to perform that comes with royal status. It does establish that the monarchy won't stand for allowing its status to be used and abused for personal gain. In the end, it could all amount to the monarchy drawing a line in the sand, analogies to 1930s fascism and the quote unspoken argument, what is at the heart of this editorial, art should be free to stand unsupported. But makes it clear that even though royalty may be glamorous, at the end of the day, this is about service, obligation and the reverence of the institution itself. There has so far been no word on if Harry and Meghan are looking at a complicated path like the Sussexes. Maybe it is necessary to strip them of their titles in order to finally put this chapter to rest so the royal family can get back to what it does best and what the public is expecting of them. A renewed focus on solidarity and responsibility to those who depend on it. For evidence of this, you need look no further than the new website rebranding themselves, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, while asking for promotion and cash as, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. This was evidenced by the tour of Africa within only the first few weeks of the year where, at every appearance, they stood smiling beneath their titles, despite having stepped down from the senior positions that went with them. A plain and simple grift, and quite honestly, a tacky one. Now, however, King Charles and the palace are determined to exile the creature for good. Never again will these two get to play in the big leagues of monarchy then trash the institution on the way out, abusing their status as royals to profit while kicking dust in the eyes of the family. The jig is up. I mean, can you even imagine the world-class tantrums headed our way after they take the shiny labels off them officially? The screeching, the cries of racism and injustice, the documentary cameras rolling to get their righteous indignation on right over the brow, it's a made-for-TV dream. Naturally, they will do their best to turn the tables and play the victim as they always do, but we all see the reality. As most monarchies fell, were reformed or at the very least adapted to respond to more modern criticisms about the role of the ruling elites, the Windsors have been living in a gilded California exile all this time, bankrolled by their royal titles granting them taxpayer-funded bonuses from media paydays. But having spent their own time abusing the people and system that granted them these titles and this life of luxury, they truly forfeited any right to continue bandying that royal brand. The con is finally getting exposed and the palace is going to terminate it completely. Imagine the look on Meghan's face as she changes her last name back from the Duchess in that reality and starts going out on the speaker circuit and working with brands to try and present herself as some kind of royal thing. This is not only hypocritical behavior but a betrayal of the institution that provide a modicum of cover for their actions. When they recently lambasted the monarchy and yet integrated their royal moniker in the public eye, it was like having your cake and eating it at the same time. Oprah interview be damned, they were milking the system that granted them a platform. But, stripping them of their titles doesn't want to limit their financial opportunities, rather it is also intended to preserve the dignity of the royal family. The titles of Duke and of Duchess carry a significant weight and heavy responsibility, and Harry and Meghan have not been holding up their side of the bargain. However, When news broke of King Charles effectively removing the couple from the employ of the crown, the action clearly signaled the royal family's power to not be diminished in name or glory to serve personal gain. It will be interesting to see how Harry and Meghan respond to this development and whether they will continue to seek to exploit their erstwhile royal status for personal gain. It may be a key moment for the pair, who will have to find a way to reinvent themselves in a new role and path unassociated to their royal connections. The outcome is obviously still pending, and whether they openly confront this challenge or continue to masquerade as the victims, we wait to see. But what is a sure thing is that the world will be watching and the fallout should be epic. Left alone, Harry is only a punchline, and now must watch his last link to the only thing that ever made him important be severed as well. Yes, the circumstances threaten to veer into tragic territory, but what ends up happening feels, in a way, inevitable. Their ever-shrinking contingent of hardcore boosters will undoubtedly scream loudly about whatever perceived injustices and discrimination have wrongfully, but harmlessly, wronged them. This echoes that kind of postponed repercussions of entitlement, of disloyalty, of non-gratitude. If they could have been more eager to maintain their cushy titles, maybe they should have thought about not disrespecting yet again the family and institution that bestowed them on them. Respecting some traditions and values that they once pledged to honor may have been the wiser move. Maybe they should have thought twice before taking a swipe at the people who forked out those big bucks to bankroll their lavish royal lifestyle and wedding. It would not be wise to go against the people that are all for you when you are representing your brand. It is clear, however, that both of these guys are not in touch with their awareness or that much humility. Soon enough, they will know just how irrelevant and disposable they are as their fake job titles are removed forever. Though they will try to scream and shout as if it is some sort of inhumane act of discrimination by the royals, the fact will remain that they are getting what they deserve from their disgusting treachery. The inevitable day of reckoning for those narcissistic, privilege-drenched wankers who've drunk on their own self-regard and deluded entitlement, is coming. Yea, let us rejoice, for the end is in sight. But their pseudo-royal status is on the cusp of being torn down. The veils will be lifted, the titles and high statuses shed, to reveal that they are mere in their insignificance, and not even their cherished lineage will afford them protection and defense. A drama which plays out as a stark example of the peril of hubris, and the virtue of humility. And, as they chase some twisted concept of fame and fortune, Harry and Meghan have lost perspective of the public service that should be at the heart of them. Rather than taking the high road with dignity and grace, they were destined to hit the self-indulgent, controversial paths instead. The more galling spectacle the gradual disintegration of a couple who could once do no wrong, one that a now less than infinitely patient public watches with increasing amusement. In the end, this will be recorded as a warning in history. The story of how two people who started with so much affluence and means, ended up throwing it away in the pursuit of popularity that never lasted. Without them, the world will eventually move on, and the lesson learned will simply be this: that pride comes before a fall, that no amount of fame is everlasting. As the curtain falls one last time on the royal charade of Harry and Meghan, then takes a bow, let us pause to consider what honor and duty actually mean. After all, what designates us is not any title nor the richness of any wealth, but what we do and how others feel with the way in which we do. This is a sad element of Harry and Meghan, a legacy of opportunities lost and sullied good names. This is the total provocation and the nut-knocking they richly deserve after long years of demeaning and betrayal, low respect, and full pandering of the people who made it all possible. King Charles and Prince William have finally had enough and are delivering the killer knockout punch every devoted royal follower has longed to see. For years, we have just been along for the ride with these two, as they have gone from one controversy to the next, never facing the consequences for their actions. The public are left disappointed and dumbfounded as to how they could have disrespected the very system that enabled them to rise to their well-compensated and influential positions. But now it was time for payback. The fact that these massive names get reversed is a signal of the emperor being naked. This is far from just a slap on the wrist, as it's a clear statement that the royal family will no longer stand for this behavior. This marked the end of a long-sealed pact of imperviousness to prosecution by which the monarchy and its supporters had abided. It was an act of betrayal of a sense of regal prerogative, revealing that a new form of accountability and probity might apply to the institution. Well, keep an eye out for what's bound to be a grand-scale tantrum from Smeg just as soon as the plug is pulled on those fat titles too, in this final act of glorious humiliation. There'll be fireworks and tears flowing out of all directions, and the long con these two grifters have been getting away with will finally be exposed. It is a long overdue fulminating of fury and discredit percolated for a long time. This surely will cause a little bit of havoc. It will absolutely produce a horde of responses, from both those who support the move and those who oppose it, with media outlets across the world lined up to catch every moment. There is no doubt that it will test the mettle of the royal family to adhere to the values and traditions they stand for, but this move highlights their willingness to safeguard the respect and honor of the crown. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think King Charles and Prince William are making the right decision here, or do you think there might have been a better way to handle this? Leave your thoughts in the comments and let me know your theories. This is a subject that will bring forth many discussions, and we want to hear about it from you. We want to hear from you. Are you a full-throated monarchist, stunned by the news away from the hospital in London? In the meantime, follow me on YouTube for even crazier tales and saucier uncouplings. My London is committed to banishing the boring from your life with royal news. Follow the Royal Rota on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening, and please like, rate and leave a review. This is just another way you can help us continue to do so. Thanks for watching. We will meet with new fabulous news about the royal family. Bye for now.